subscribe, hit like if you like what you're hearing. Maybe you want to wait a bit. That's fine. Ring the bell for notifications and put your comments below. You can ask questions even after this. We come back, we answer it directly. You'll hear directly from me. So anybody out there has questions, just let me know. What I'm going to do tonight at the start here is courtesy of one of our number one fans, Sam. He asked, could I show our league and talk about the teams in it and that sort of thing? So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go through the league and just show you how I'm thinking about the process. You know, when you have some spare time, you can sometimes look at your league and see what's going on. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at my matchups this week and just see how I'm doing. Now, I'm playing an arch rival, and so it's intense. I came into the day down 6-0. That means we were tied in 3 categories, but I was not worried because I had played less players than him. So let me show you what I'm looking at first. The first thing I'm going to look at, oh, it's not showing actually. It's on my phone that it does this. So listen, here's a little tip. If you want to find out how many games you have left to play, for some reason it works on the phone. It doesn't work on the computer. I'm playing Oubre's used, and actually that's off the screen. I'm going to move over so you can see it. Oubre's used socks. He got some socks that had Kelly Oubre because he traded for Kelly Oubre, and he was prescient in doing so. But here, when I click on this, I see how many games we have left. I have played 8 out of 40 games. He has played 8 out of 45. Now, that's not exactly what I wanted to see, because what it means is he's got 5 more games than me to play his players. I'm going to have to check and see why that is. Usually what that means is I've got some players who have 3-game weeks. So I'm just going to check in, though, and see how I'm doing. Right now, I'm beating him in field goal percentage. My field goal percentage usually is not this high, so I'm not thinking I'm going to hold on to that category. My free throw percentage is great, and his was at like 935. So I'm glad to see him come down there because I'm likely to beat him in that category. Now, I've got 12 3-pointers to his 22, 124 points to his 173. He's kind of killing me in these categories, but here's the good news. Even with playing less players, I'm beating him in assists. I'm barely beating him in steals. I'm beating him in blocks. I have more turnovers right now. Hey, Sam, welcome. I knew you'd be here. Our MVP of the chat, Sam Jacobowitz. Let me know if you have questions, Sam, but I'm doing this in part inspired by you. We had thoughts to do this anyway, but we're going to look through my league. So we're looking at my matchups first, and my current matchup, and see how I'm doing. What I'm going to do, though, is assess what needs I might have. So here, what I'm seeing so far is I think I might hold on and win field goal percentage. I think I will win free throws. 3-pointers, I don't know. We're going to have to see. I'm behind right now, and I have less players to play. Points, same thing. It depends on who's blowing up and stuff. Rebounds is not usually my strong suit, so I think he's going to get me there. I'm huge in assists, so I don't think he's going to beat me there. I can hang with him in steals and blocks, but I'm probably going to win turnovers because he's going to play more games than me. So that means if I hold on to the two percentages, field goal and free throw percentage, and I win turnovers, all I have to do is win 2 of the other matchups, and I'm going to win 5-4. Why is it important to win 5-4? I see Ross the Boss is here. Boss is here. Welcome, Ross. One of the reasons it's important to win 5-4 or more, obviously you want to win by more, but I've got less players playing than him, and he's a good team. He's the 4th place team, but he's also usually a rival for the top. This is my cousin Andrew. I'm in first place right now, but to stay in first place, you got to win the tough matchups, at least 5-4, generally speaking. But the real reason you want to do it is you want the tiebreaker over these teams when the playoff comes. So I'm going to be very careful to try to win it. Now, let's go to my team and take a look at my strengths and weaknesses, okay? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at how I'm doing for the season. All right. So as you may note, my team is named Hot Rod Time Machine. This is a combination of obviously Hot Tub Time Machine, but it is also a shout out to Hot Rod Williams of the Cleveland Cavaliers of the late 80s, early 90s. May he rest in peace. It's hard to believe these people are gone. And by the way, I do need to give a shout out tonight to another big Cleveland guy, Marty Schottenheimer, passed away early this morning, and he will be missed. He's my favorite Browns coach of all time. Kevin Stefanski is growing on me, but he's got big shoes to fill with Marty Schottenheimer. But that's football. We're going back to basketball. So I'm looking. The first thing I'm going to look at is the current ranking. What this tells you is how good is this player compared to all the other players. So Chris Paul, you'll see here, I'm just going to slide over so you can see his name. Okay, you see that he is ranked 32nd overall. He was preseason 33, so this is not surprising, but he finished 7th last year overall. And so I'm expecting this to go up. So he's looking good. He's got a huge amount of assists. Just look at my assist column. I've got 180 assists from Paul. I've got 213 from Harden. I got 199. That is from LeBron. So I am quite good in assists. Meanwhile, let's look down here. 240 assists. No, that can't be. That's Enes Kanter. He doesn't have 240 assists. Wrong column. That was rebounds. Okay. I got 94 assists coming in from Darius Garland, and he's been injured. So I'm going to get tons of assists. If I'm looking for a trade, I'm not trading for assists. I might trade from strength. Ross the Boss has a comment. I can get Embiid for Tobias and Holmes. Should I do it? Short answer is almost certainly yes, but I'm going to check this out for you just to make sure. We're going to go to the player function and do a search. We're going to look at how Embiid is doing. Now, on a per game status, now look, I'm looking at season average. Do you see that? This is going to tell how he's doing on average per game. Oh, it changed it to embed. No, we don't need your help, autocorrect. Let's just go with Embiid. We don't need embed. Embiid is ranked 5th overall in average stats. So what it's telling you is that, sure, he might not play some games, but when he plays, he is absolutely dominant. Let's check how he's doing for the season total, though, because that's going to tell us a different story. Not necessarily that different, but we have to see. Joel Embiid is ranked. Let's move this over a little bit. Yeah, you can see it. Okay, 10th overall. So he's doing great. Minutes per game is 32. When you generally want to see minutes over 30, listen, if you can have useful guys who have 18 minutes a game, but if they get 24 or higher, they become extremely useful. And if they get up to 30, they're must-owns, generally speaking. We got another question from Ross. Would you drop Barrett for Diallo or Kobe White? Well, first of all, let me answer your question. You should get Embiid for Tobias and Holmes. If you can get Embiid for any two players that aren't in the top 10, get Embiid. Okay, would you drop Barrett for Diallo or Kobe White? I got to see how they're doing. Now, one of the things that I often say here is there are times where I don't know certain players because I just don't have them on my radar, but I'm going to put Amadou Diallo on my radar. I love this guy. He jumps out of the building. Super athletic guy. I want to see how he's doing because obviously there's something to Ross's question. So I'm going to check the last 14 days. And let's see. We filter here. In the last 14 days, he ranks 100th. That's totally ownable. Completely ownable. Let's see what else he's doing, though. His field goal percentage is 506. I don't know if he's going to be able to keep that up. He's obviously a decent free throw shooter. He's not hitting threes, but he is getting assists and he's getting steals. So I need to assess a bit more. Give me a second, Ross, and I'll get you an answer. In the last 7 days total, he's ranked 82, and he's 35-30 a game. His field goal percentage is high. He doesn't hit three-pointers, but he's a steals guy. So I would say that he is a decent pickup, but would you drop Barrett to get him? And then we'll get to Derek White. We're going to go to RJ Barrett and see. Let's see. RJ Barrett, owned by Phil from New Jersey. Guess who that is? That is Ross the Boss. Named after somebody that I apparently looked like, who actually looked like Dan Fouts, so I was not pleased about that comparison. Not pleased at all. We're going to see how RJ Barrett's been doing. I know he's been coming on of late. You know, this is his, you know, when players get more acclimated like Barrett is going to now, he can often, these kind of players can often get better. But in the last 14 days, he's ranked 185th. He's not really doing that much other than scoring. So I see why Ross the Boss is eyeing dropping him. But I'm going to see how he did in the last 30 days and in the last 7 days. In the last 30 days, ranked 126th. Again, a lot of points. He's not giving you a ton else. He's not a bad player to own, but he's easily cuttable. All right, now let me just make sure and see how he's done in the last 7 days. He's been really in a funk. So listen, RJ Barrett is a rotational player. You pick him up when he's hot. I would say, though, you want to keep him on your radar the whole time, because the fact is he may start to pull away. These are players, he has that talent, so he can get up there. Now, let's see. What are other people saying about this? We're going to get to Derek White. Ross also asks, should he drop Duncan Robinson for Derek White? And guess what? Sam is getting in on the action in the talk. He says, yes, drop Robinson for White. So now I got to check out White and Robinson. I'm never going to be able to make trades at this rate, guys, but we'll see if there's time. All right, we're going to look at, he wanted to look at Coby White and Derek White. Now we got two Whites to look at. Okay, Coby White, really quickly. Last 14 days is kind of my go-to just to check in on how they're doing. Coby White's not doing that well. His minutes are over 30, but his field goal percentage is terrible. Great free throw percentage, but you see, he's really not doing that much. 27 assists over 14 days. Really not that great for somebody like him. 83 points. I'm not really liking that either. So I would not drop. I would pick up Diallo over Coby White. It's fine to drop Barrett for either of them, but I'm not a huge fan of Coby White myself. And apologies to Casey, who owns him. I'm looking at how he did in the last 7 days. Not that great. Let's see how he's done in the last 30 days. And then we'll move over to Derek White. Okay. Yeah, Coby White, not really my thing right now. I never was that high on him anyway. Okay, let's look at Derek White. I'm going to look at the season average because he's been out a lot. So what I want to see is, well, how's he doing when he actually plays? And that's what average will tell you. Okay. Andre Watson is here. Dr. Andre Watson, if you watched the Super Bowl with us, you watched our response. Dr. Andre Watson is my friend from grad school. He's blind, but in the second part of the time that Andre came on, he was also mute, but it wasn't his fault. It was technology. Guys, I want to remind you, if you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, hit like if you're liking what you're hearing, and comment below. The other thing is you can come on live, www.callmfsn.com. You can come in by video or you can come in by audio. Either way is fine with me. You pick the way you want to come in. I want to make you comfortable. Now, I also want to say we are sponsored. And so I'm going to give a little shout out to Killcliff. They have a commercial coming up. We're not doing commercials. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that.
From Killcliff, the #1 clean energy drink in the mind of Joe Rogan, comes the Flamin' Joe. Sugar-free, B vitamins, electrolytes, all them good drink things. An epic spicy pineapple fusion from out of this world, straight into your drink hole. Own it. Killcliff.com.
Oh, Killcliff. Now, you might think this is just a coincidence, but it isn't. I'm sponsored by Killcliff, and that is why I have it in my hand right now. But that's not that I wouldn't drink it, because it is actually delicious. Now let's catch up on some of these comments. We're falling behind. I love all these comments. Okay. So would you drop Barrett for Diallo? Yes. For Coby White? No. I would find somebody else. Duncan Robinson for Derek White? You know what? I have to say, Derek White, everybody's super high on him. I don't think Derek White is really going to emerge all that much. I don't trust the Spurs because Popovich is always, playing with things. He's the Belichick of basketball. Derek White, meanwhile, he's out right now. What's happening with you, Derek White? He will not play. Simple precaution. He still has enough 8-category and 9-category appeal to stash. Now that's what they're saying on the Yahoo site. I have to say, I agree with Yahoo here. This is one of those guys that's been super hyped. I'm not a big fan of Derek White. Now, would you drop Duncan Robinson for him? Maybe. Let's make a quick look at this. Duncan Robinson, 160, but let's see. My tried and true last 14 days. Oh, not good. Not good. Very low shooting percentage. He's hitting threes, but he's doing almost nothing else. Listen, the Heat they were playing out of their minds in the bubble last year, but Duncan Robinson is a 3-point specialist. You can find him again. So if you want to take a chance on Derek White, I think that's fine. Another question. Sam says he would not drop. I think he was responding to Barrett for Diallo or Kobe White. I could see that going either way. Ross asks, I have Westbrook been trying to trade him. No one wants him. Actually, I do, Ross. Let's talk. I'll go to my team and I'll propose you a trade. What did I do? What do I do? This guy named Casey might be dumb enough. Ross with a little jab in there to Casey Scheinvold. Okay, now a trade offer. Okay, this person got offered Jay Morant for Donovan Mitchell. Shall I press accept? Now, which side of the trade are you on? You got offered Morant for Mitchell. I see. Okay, so we're looking at, do you want to grab Morant while you can? I'm going to take a quick look here. Morant, 103 for the season. His averages look pretty good, and not a ton of turnovers for the kind of player that he is. So I'd like to see his 3-point shooting up a little bit more. Let's see if he's been doing better of late. And I'm just looking at averages, trying to assess this. Ooh, no, of average, no. I don't think I would do this. I do not think I would do this. Donovan Mitchell. I'm going to pull him up now. Donovan Mitchell ranked 78th overall. Let's see, though. Tried and true, 14 days. Well, 138. See, you have Mitchell Robinson down here because I just searched Mitchell, but you can kind of ignore that. I like Donovan Mitchell's overall game more. I would not make that trade. But it really depends on your team. If you need the point guard, then maybe you do it. You know, they're pretty even players. I think Mitchell's going to be better in the long run. And I'll get back to you on Westbrook Ross. So let's see. Sam agrees with me. He likes Mitchell more. That's because Sam is a genius. Okay. Derrick Rose will be better on the Knicks. Don't know if I should drop for Josh Jackson or Josh Richardson. Apparently, this person is just very into Joshes. Maybe I can find you a better Josh. Well, let's see. Let's take a look and see. We're looking at Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is not a favorite owner of mine because he's just going to get injured. And he's even not performing that well. But let's see how he's been doing in the last 14 days. The magic number for me. 302. Ooh, but he is saying he's going to get better. So let's take a look and see what he's been doing since he was traded. I'll look at the game log. Oh, he's going to make his Knicks debut on. That's tonight. So I don't know how he's done yet. So let's see if it shows up in the game log. Usually this is pretty up to date. Yeah, February 9th. He played 20 minutes. He scored 14 points, a bunch of junk. I'm not high on him. Will he play better with the Knicks? Listen, he might. But Derrick Rose, let's look at what he did. You know, let's see what he's done this season so far, first of all. 216. This is a guy who shouldn't be owned. Last year, what did he do? 153. Derrick Rose should be on your waiver wire unless you play in a 16-team league. So I would drop him. Now let's see. Which Josh? Let's search Joshes. If you had to pick up a Josh, which one should it be? Let's look at current rankings of Joshes. Josh Richardson is your Josh. So you called it. I would say you go for him, but just to make sure, let's look at how they're doing in the last 14 days. Okay. Best Josh in the last 14 days is Josh Richardson. And he's scoring a lot of points. He's got 8 steals in the last 14 days. He's got great free throw percentage. Doesn't turn the ball over that much. He's getting 30 minutes. I think that's a great move. Go for it. Okay. I like Garland. Sam says he likes Garland. I'm with you, Sam. I was with him all the way. I bid $71 out of my $100 budget for him, and I'll tell you why. Because he has the upside. I just figured, I can get players on the waiver wire for value, but this is a guy who I thought could be a 22-point scorer with assists, with steals, and be a major part of his team. Did want to remind you, for those of you out there, bunch of things. If you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, hit like if you like what you're hearing, and put your comments below. I'll answer them directly. Now we've got a question coming up. It's Ross the Boss. He's all over the questions tonight. You know why? It's because he doesn't want me to trade, to offer him a trade for Westbrook because he's afraid. Oh, he's going to hate hearing that. He's going to go crazy now. I know it. Anyways, was offered AD for Drummond and Hero. Shall I press accept? Now. Do it now. Do it now. Yes, yes, yes. Listen, if you get offered a player like AD, you take it almost certainly, unless an equal player, unless they're demanding an equal player. You know, if offered AD for, let's say, Kevin Durant, do you do that? Maybe not. Depends on the context of your team. But 2-for-1 deals are something we talk about all the time on MFSN. I love getting 2-for-1 deals where I get the one, and I'll tell you why. Because you get to bring another player off the wire, but you get the best one. It's like you're getting 2.5, you know, because where the other player is getting 2 players, you're getting 2.5 because your one great player is like almost 2 by themselves, and you get to bring in somebody else. I'm going to show you a little trick on trading, though, in our league where you can only pick up guys on waivers once a week. So there you actually want to do a decoy 2-for-1 trade. That is where it's actually a 2-for-2 trade, but the second player you're getting is complete junk. You're going to cut them at some point, but they still give you some numbers for that week. So that's what you want to do. Okay, let's see. We've got other thoughts. Offered Hero for Garland. Thoughts? My initial instinct is take it in a heartbeat because, like Sam, I like Garland a lot. But let's look at what Tyler Hero has been doing. Has he been a hero? Not looking like it so much. Also, a Ross the Boss player. So let's see how he's doing. Tried and true 14 days, 144. He's playing 33 minutes a game, so that's good. But I'm just not seeing a lot of value there. His points aren't that high. His rebounds and assists are middling at best. Steals and blocks, not so good. Listen, if you can get Garland for Hero, I pull the trigger right away. Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so Sam's bringing up some trade talk. He's saying that he wouldn't trade for Zach LaVine or Rudy Gobert. About 3 to 4. Oh, okay. The question was, when is Nurkic coming back? That's about 3 to 4 weeks. So I own Enes Kanter. I need to know when Nurkic is coming back. Then again, he's going to be eased in. So he's coming back in 3 to 4 weeks. But I think that we really have to think of it more like maybe 5 or 6 weeks before, you know, we can think to cut him. That's my reading on it. All right. Let's see what else is going on here. So we wouldn't trade for Zach LaVine or Rudy Gobert. Let's see why. Why does he say this? Because Rudy Gobert is usually, you know, a top 30 player. A season average 61, so he's underperforming this year, and let's see why. Well, his blocks are still good. His rebounds and points are... Oh, this free throw percentage has really sunk his value. Now, listen, if you have a bad free throw team, not bad to snatch up a guy like Rudy Gobert because his value is lower than usual, and he fits into your team. I'm going to go to the 14-day rule. 19 overall. Free throw percentage up to 627. His blocks are out of control. His rebounds are great. I would probably trade for Gobert if I can. He's undervalued. In the last 7 days, 66. Let's see, in the last 30 days, 38. I see nothing wrong with Rudy Gobert. I mean, yes, his free throw percentage is terrible, so he's got to fit into your team. Otherwise, there's a great exchange going on in the chat. Ross the Boss said, should I drop Lauri Markkanen? Sam said, no. WTF. Why would you drop Markkanen? I've got to agree with him. But Ross has a different question. Should I trade Jamal Murray and Jarrett Allen for Ben Simmons in a points league? Jamal Murray and Jarrett Allen for Ben Simmons in a points league. My initial response to that is no. But let's take a look. Let's see how Jamal Murray's doing. There's going to be more than one Murray. That's the problem with searching it that way. Let me just clean this up and search for Jamal Murray. Okay. Jamal Murray ranks 91 overall. So it's Jamal Murray for... Where is this question? I need to find this so I can see it again. Okay, well, Jamal Murray ranking 91 overall, but I'm going to check out 30 days. What has he done over the last 30 days? 109. See, I called Jamal Murray to be not a bust, but I didn't like him as much. I thought that he was going to have a kind of underperformance. It turned out I was really quite right about it, but who would have known? So this was Jamal Murray and Jared Allen for Ben Simmons in a points league. I'm starting to think that the answer is yes, because I didn't know Jamal Murray had underperformed that much. This happens when players are not on your team. I really want to encourage you, by the way. When I have more time, I comb through the teams. I check on what players are happening. If you want to succeed in your fantasy leagues, it is good to be up on the players. So do as I say, not as I do. No, I'm kidding. I actually usually do that, but haven't had as much time on my hands lately, so I haven't been able to do that. Jamal Murray, and now we're going to look at Jared Allen. Jared Allen. There he is. One of my favorite new Cavs. We're going to see how he's doing in the last 14 days. And then I want to look at Lauri Markkanen and show why Sam was like, why would you drop him? Jared Allen, 21 over the last 14 days, 21st. Beast of rebounds. Look at his blocks. He's getting integrated into the Cavs team. So I'm starting to think no again on that trade, but I'm going to check on Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons ranks 50th overall. Now, remember, this is a points league. What a points league means is that field goal percentage and free throw percentage don't mean anything. So Ben Simmons' low free throw percentage right here doesn't matter at all. What you want to see is this: points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, and threes. He's not making threes, but he's got everything else that you're looking for in a points league. So I think the answer is yes, Ross. I'd go for it. All right. Now we're going to check out Lauri Markkanen. I'm never going to get to those trades at this rate, but that's all right. Lauri Markkanen. Why am I spelling that wrong? Maybe I am. Well, let's just search for Mark. That should be there. There he is. 2 Ks. That's why. Markica. Lauri and I don't know why it's not popping up in the search. This happens sometimes. Don't get fooled by Yahoo. They just like, especially if there's apostrophes in the name, like not Ryan O'Neal. That's what everybody keeps saying. Royce O'Neal. Okay, I'm going to take a couple more questions, and then I am going into trades after this. I'm feeling the itch. I got to do it. Lauri Markkanen ranks 58th overall in the season. Let's take a look at my tried and true 14 days. Okay, he's slumping lately. Let's see how he's done in the last 7. Yeah, he's really slumping lately. But even so, I think no way you cut the guy. He is injured. So let's see what his injury is like. Expected to miss 2 to 4 weeks. Okay, now listen. Here's the thing. If you have a league where you have an injured spot, no way you cut him. You just stick him on the injured spot. But I could say, I understand, Sam, you're thinking that you generally wouldn't cut him. But let's say you're in a dogfight, and let's say there's 3 or 4 weeks left towards the playoffs. You actually would cut him. You would, or you would trade him, because sometimes you really just need that win. So it's all going to depend. It always depends on context, the time of season, who you're playing, all that stuff. Hold on, I got to clear some of this stuff out of my computer is blocking my view of things. Okay, look, guys, I see there's more questions, and I'm going to get to questions. I'll tell you what, as they put up the questions on the screen, I'm going to take those ones, but I'm going to let them cultivate which answers I'm going to take. I'm going to look into trades a little bit here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, again, what I was doing when we started is I'm going to look at my team and what I need. Actually, let me see if they still have this function. So there's a head-to-head function. I want to see something. Yes, current standings. Okay, head-to-head stats. This is a way to assess your team and whether you're doing well in certain categories. You have a record in every category. Now, this is a category league. It's a 9-category league. So we talked about points leagues where percentages don't matter, and I believe turnovers, turnovers I think do matter in some points leagues. It depends on the points league. But you can look and see how is your team doing. So I'm down here at the bottom. Don't read anything into that because I'm actually in first place. But I'm 1-6 in field goal percentage. It's just not my strength. Free throw percentage, I'm 7-0. This is because I have a guard-heavy team. If you have a guard-heavy team, you're going to do great in free throws and bad in field goal percentage. If I can get some big men, though, who shoot free throws decently, I can start to get this category to be on the rise. 3-pointers, I'm 4-3. I'm doing fine. Points, I'm 2-4-1. One is a tie. I don't know how I tied in points. That's pretty amazing. Because over a week period, a week-long period, to have a tie in points is not actually so easy to do. Rebounds is not one of my strengths either. When you get over to assists and steals, that is where I start to have much more success. And that's partly because I have so many guards. So I'm also really good in blocks. So that's an interesting combination because I don't have a lot of big men, but I'm 6-1 in blocks and I'm 5-2 in turnovers. What this means is that I've got pretty efficient players. But if I'm going to work on getting somebody, I'm looking at points, field goal percentage, and rebounds. So let's take a look. Who can I get for points, field goal percentage, and rebounds? We're going to look at the players. You got to go to all players, not all players available, because I'm trying to trade for somebody who is not available. Okay, I'm just sorting them by rank. Remember, I'm looking for, this is what I do. I look for what is it that I need, and then I look at what do the other teams need, because you don't want to offer a trade where there's really nothing in it for that other team. That's not what we're looking for. That will just alienate the other team. So I'm looking for field goal percentage. Now, obviously, Jokic is at the top. He's got a .565 field goal percentage. He's not going to hurt my free throws. He's fantastic in points. He's fantastic in rebounds. He would be the ideal guy to get, but of course, am I going to get him? No. And I'll tell you why. Because I'd have to give up either LeBron or I'd have to give up Harden. And that's just not worth it to me. Now, an injured Karl-Anthony Towns is somebody that I'd be pretty interested in. I'm not going to get field goal percentage up that much, though. So what I'm really looking to get is rebounds. That's the category I most want to work on. Rebounds and points, really. Because I want to set myself up for the playoffs to be able to do something good. So, Karl-Anthony Towns currently injured. I know he's had a really rough year. Personally, he's had COVID. So let's see what's happening with him. Towns is being listed with health and safety protocols, but it's more about him getting back his conditioning back. I'm not worried about him getting his conditioning back, even though I saw Myles Garrett huffing and puffing for a long time on the sidelines of the Browns games. But I think he's worth it. Now, he's ranked second overall in terms of average stats. But let's see how we can utilize this to our advantage. Karl-Anthony Towns in preseason ranking is ranked 4th overall, but he has a 272nd ranking. Now, listen, the owner knows he's been injured the whole time, so he's not going to misinterpret those numbers so badly that he's not going to, not understand that Karl-Anthony Towns is better than the 272nd player. But he may be frustrated with him. He's been out the whole time. He's a frustrating own. So I might look to do something with that. So I'm going to click on that team. Let's see if I can get him. Karl-Anthony Towns. This is Johnny. Johnny's a great trade guy. I'll tell you why. He responds to trades. He's open to them. He gives good communication. He's an ideal trade partner. So I love this. Now, meanwhile, he's got Joel Embiid also with points and rebounds. I like to hear that because I've got to deal with a team that can deal me something along the lines of what I need. And they're not going to be able to deal me something unless they have that something. Now, here's what I like to see. Sorry, I want to pull up average stats just to show you something on this team. I think I'm actually going to propose this trade. Okay, Joel Embiid, he ranks 5th overall, so he's going to cost me too much. When I'm looking for a trade, I'm really looking for somebody who I can get a little more cheaply. Look, I could go for, again, I could trade LeBron and something else maybe for Embiid, but I wouldn't do that. Or I could trade it straight up even, but I just wouldn't do that because Embiid's health isn't so great. Oh, man, he's got Sabonis also. 21 points. This is the team for me. Look at this. Okay, we've got Karl-Anthony Towns on his injury list, 22 points a game, 12.5 rebounds. We've got Sabonis, 21 points, 11.7. Sabonis is maybe even more attractive than Karl-Anthony Towns for me because he may cost less, but he's also healthy. So now I'm thinking Sabonis might be my target. Yeah, he looks like a great target. He was actually one of my sleepers. So let's see what I can get for him. Or sorry, what I would need to give up to get him. This is an ideal team, though, to trade with. And I can go through other trades, but I'm just saying this is one of them. So let's see. Now I need to look at what does he need? What does he need? Well, let's go take a look. You know what? Let's go back to the front page and let's look at his matchups and see how he's doing, because that's going to tell me what he needs. Okay, we go to head-to-head stats. We are looking for so bad, need an assist. Maybe he needs assists. Is that what's happening? No, he's finding assists. He needs some three-pointers. He needs free throw percentage. Guess who has that? Me. This is looking good. Looking like a good matchup here. He's terrible in blocks. Interesting. Now I got to go back to my team. This is one thing you want to do when you're making a trade. Go ahead and look at the different parts and see where things match up. So now I'm going to look at my stats. I want to see average stats. Average stats for this year. We're going to look at three-pointers and blocks because that's what he needs. Now I've got Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway Jr. is hitting tons of threes. 3.2 a game. And he's somebody that I might give up. Now I look at James Harden. James Harden's hitting 2.9 threes a game, but I'm not going to deal him. So I'm looking at parts that I might deal. I just need to check the clock here. All right, I need to make sure where we're at. Okay, we're probably only going to have time to construct one trade. And it doesn't always take this long because you got to remember, when I'm constructing a trade, I'm usually not telling the whole world how to do it. And if Johnny, if you're watching, you're seeing what I'm doing. So Tim Hardaway Jr. is one piece that I'm considering offering. I want to go back to my threes and see who else is hitting a lot of threes. We got 2.3 and 2.2 over here, and that is Justin Holiday and Nicholas Batum. These are guys that I'd be willing to part with. But listen, I'm going to make no bones about it. None of these players can get Sabonis back. I got to give him something really good, and he also needs blocks. So 3.6 blocks a game is Miles Turner. I can't move him. Here's where we're running into a roadblock. So I've done very well in blocks, but it's because of Miles Turner. When you look at the rest of my team, I don't have a single guy on my team who averages more than 1 block a game, more than 0.9 blocks a game. So that's not totally ideal, I got to say. Now, I'm going to be in the market for a blocking guy myself. So what I can give him is a guy who can block some shots, but mostly I'm going to give him 3-pointers and I'm going to give him value. So let's see if he'll bite on anything here. Okay, Sabonis is ranked 55th overall, so I also have to match up the levels of player. Tim Hardaway Jr. is 99th. If I give him if I give him like the 99th best player and maybe the 70th best player. But see, Enes Kanter. Now look, this would be an insulting offer. If I give him Tim Hardaway Jr. and Enes Kanter, and I am asking for Sabonis back, he would rightfully be annoyed by that because Enes Kanter's value is going to go way down when Nurkic comes back. And we just talked about that. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to insult the guy like that. Now, Bobby Portis, on the other hand, his value is not going anywhere. He's ranked 85th. He is one of my rebound guys, but for Sabonis, I would do it. He doesn't block enough shots, though, and he doesn't hit a ton of threes. Now, here's the thing. He is a guy who's shooting 54% from the field, and you'd think that's good on a team that needs field goal percentage, but I'm basically punting field goal percentage at this point. I mean, I like to have a guy like Portis, but I'd be willing to move him. Let's see who else. Let's talk about Nicholas Batum. Okay, 2.23s a game. Okay, so here's what I'll do. I'm going to offer Nicholas Batum and Tim Hardaway Jr. for Sabonis. I don't even know if I'm going to send this. I just Ross says Bobby Portis for president. Oh, and by the way, Sabonis's father, Arvydas Sabonis, I saw that guy play live. He was huge, just a huge dude. His son, DeMontis, has a lot more agility. But now we're going to go ahead and consider proposing this trade. I'm going to pull up the right team. Oh, come on. So bad, need an assist. Ironically, so bad, need blocks and threes. That's what you need to change your name to. Okay. So here's what we do when we want to make a trade. We're going to go down to Domantas Sabonis, and this arrow button is the trade button. So I'm going to send this trade anyway. I'm going to tell him I'm doing it for a show, and that way if he's insulted by anything, then I will tell him I understand. Tim Hardaway Jr. and Nicholas Batum. Oh, but you know what? Remember I said a 2-for-1 deal, but you really want to do a 2-for-2 deal? Ross says it's a horrible offer. Listen, I think it's not a great offer. If I were him, I would not take it. I wouldn't. But it's a starting point, you know, and I try not to be super insulting. So Ross is saying it's a horrible offer. So I'll tell you what, Ross, make a suggestion for who should be the second player that I offer with Tim Hardaway Jr. You're looking at my team. Chris Paul's too valuable. Harden's too valuable. LeBron James is too valuable. Do I have another player? Maybe Garland. Maybe Garland would be a good player to offer. Let's see. Because you're right. I mean, I could see somebody being insulted by this, and I don't want to insult. What about Marcus Smart? He's injured right now, but he's been great. Ross, what do you say about Marcus Smart? Is Marcus Smart or Darius Garland the player to offer that might get him to bite? I'm going to say Darius Garland. Darius Garland he's a hotter commodity. Batum is, I actually like him, but I think that it doesn't matter whether I like him. The guy you're trying to trade to somebody else, they have to like him. So just checking the clock here. I don't think he's going to like Batum. So let's try this. But remember, I said, when you're doing a 2-for-1 deal in the kind of league I have, you want to ask for some kind of crappy player back who can just give you some minutes for the week. So I'm going to go and see who's been playing really badly for him lately. The 14-day rule. Let's see. Who's been playing bad? Well, Kemba Walker's been playing bad, but that really has actually been out. So actually we need to look at average stats, not stats. Average stats, please. Garland is a maybe, according to Ross. All right, we'll see. But this is how trades evolve. You gotta think about these things. I need to trade one of my studs, is one of the comments. Well, no, that's not the goal here. I have a different strategy in mind here. Sabonis, his average stats only 82, so this isn't that far off. Let's see. How about Josh Hart? He gives me some rebounds. All right, we're going to go with that. Tim Hardaway Jr., Darius Garland, and now I'm going to get ready to propose it. Okay, now one thing I like to do is this is a great trick for assessing whether you like a trade. Because once you've started to propose it, you can actually just see your 4 players or however many players just queued up for you to take a look. So when I look at, let's say, the last 14 days in average stats, how are they doing? Josh Hart, 124, Sabonis, 82, Hardaway, 79, Garland, 140. This seems like a fair enough deal. I'm going to go ahead and now I'm going to put in a nice note. And then we're going to see if there's any other questions before we wrap up. But I'm glad that we actually got a trade offer done on the show. So, hi, Johnny. I'm in the middle of a show. I'm showing how to make a trade offer and looking for rebounds. It's very important to communicate when you make a trade offer. Looking for rebounds, Sabonis for 2 waiver pickups. They're not waiver pickups. Are you kidding me? I mean, yes, I picked them up off waivers, but that doesn't mean they're still waiver pickups. I picked up these players like 4 weeks ago, and I'm not letting them go. So they're not waiver pickups. I'm showing how to make a trade offer and looking for rebounds. And I'm not even going to say blocks because I'm just going to say I'm looking for rebounds. Rebounds and points. I see you need threes and blocks, but I don't have blocks to give. Let me know what you think of this deal, and counter offers are welcome. Thanks, buddy. Dan. Now, send trade proposal. All right. I will update. Oh, Ross says it wasn't really a fair offer. Listen, I mean, yeah, we'll see what he thinks about it. It doesn't matter what you think about it. Let's see. Ross, the boss, number one. Let's see. Am I missing any comments? We are going to wrap up after this. I'm just seeing there's a lot of great questions in here. So I'll tell you what, if you didn't get your question answered, put it in the comments below and I will answer that for you. But I'm really excited we got this done. I'll try to get the trades, maybe I'll get more trades in preparation for next time. And that way we'll be able to evaluate the trades. That's actually a great idea. I'm a genius. Nice job, Dan. So thank you guys for watching. I just wanted to remind everybody, if you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, hit like if you like what you're hearing, and put your comments below. And Ross typically ends the night by saying, don't leave. And you know what? It's just like that place in my heart that didn't get enough love. It just feels so good. So thank you, Ross. I appreciate that. Guys, thank you for watching. Keep up with MFSN. We're going to do these Q&As every night, Tuesdays, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. We also have our hockey waiver wire coming tomorrow. That's Wednesday. I actually don't know the time. Producers, let me know the time and I'll announce it. With Party Marty and Ross the Boss and me, I'll be kind of moderating. It's 6 p.m. Pacific time. Tomorrow is the hockey. And then same time on Thursday is our basketball waiver wire with me, Ross the Boss, and Casey Vlad to the Bone Shinefold. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for joining us. MVP Sam Jacobson. No, Jacobowicz. What am I talking about? Oh my God, ridiculous. Anyways, Sam, thank you for joining us. Dr. Andre Watson, thank you for joining us. Ross, thank you for all your questions. And Casey, your comments. I appreciate all of you and look forward to seeing you hockey tomorrow and waiver wire on Thursday. And this Q&A again next Tuesday. Thanks, everybody.
Buy any case of Killcliff the Clean Energy Drink and get a free rocket-powered rocket ship. Go to killcliff.com. Offer valid on every planet except Earth. No need to apply for the rocket ship, unless you really want a rocket ship, in which case we might know a guy from South Africa. Rocket ships are so hot right now. They're really fast and cool, but the maintenance is outrageous. Kind of like a boat, but 100 times worse. And we're not even sure if a rocket ship floats. And that doesn't even count the insurance, which is a total racket anyway, and good luck finding a place to park it. Killcliff, created by Navy SEAL, for people who aren't Navy SEALs. The biggest no-brainer in the history of drinks. Yeah.